I love working with Harry. It is one of the highlights of the work I get to do.
He's this incredibly nice guy, incredibly smart guy, and super dedicated to what it is that we do.
One of the things that we do is go up on the Hill, Capitol Hill, and educate members of Congress and their staff about the work of the National Marrow Donor Program and their mission to save lives through cellular transplantation.
They went into politics because they knew policies and laws can help people.
We work on legislation to advance the science of marrow transplantation and the registry.
Harry was there when this program was first created out in DC.
Harry has been on the Hill for so many years that everyone knows him. So as soon as you're walking through the halls, people go, "Hey, you're Harry Glenn." And he's like, "Yes." And he remembers them.
There are 535 members of Congress, 15,000 congressional staff. They all don't know about the National Marrow Donor Program, and many people wouldn't know about it unless they were exposed to it.
Not only did VSA help us achieve full funding for the C.W. Bill Young Cell Transplantation Program, which we've been entrusted by Congress to operate.
He gets on planes and picks up product and acts as a courier. His wife Paula does exactly the same thing.
The President issued his travel order on a Wednesday evening, and so starting on Thursday and Friday, and we realized that there were transplants scheduled for the next week.
52 of those scheduled to occur that next week. 36 of those transplants scheduled to have couriers enter the country on Monday.
The administration was still trying to figure out what the process for applying for that waiver was going to be and who you needed to sign off to get it.
The team at Vanscoy Associates worked nonstop for several days to start alerting people to what the problem was. And
a time period that in my working career only reminds me of the days after 9/11, where you just were in such uncharted territory.
They called in every personal favor that they could think of to call in, because that's what this one was going to take.
We talked to folks at the White House, we talked to the Vice President's Coronavirus Task Force, we talked to members of Congress, we talked to the Department of Health and Human Services.
You know, you go into Saturday midday and you don't know who can get the head of the CDC to sign a piece of paper on Saturday night at 11 p.m.
And that was when we received on Sunday, the director of the CDC was going to be issuing a travel waiver in the national interest to allow couriers to travel back and forth to the United States to bring bone marrow products, take bone marrow products both ways.
Absolutely critical that Harry and team jumped in when they did. It was work that I and my team could not have accomplished internally on our own.
We all held our breath when that plane was to take off on Monday and sort of didn't rest till we heard that it had landed.
And to date, the program hasn't missed a transplant. They actually set a record for the number of bone marrow transplants. The largest number of transplants in any one month in the program's 30-plus year history occurred in June, which says a lot about the ability to continue this life-saving work even in the most desperate of times.